Hey there, comic friends and fiends. Welcome to Sidekicks Talk Comics. With me, as always, my pal, Jason.
Slotitup 503. What's up, everybody?
Sorry, all of a sudden my alarm was going off. I had to yell at Google to turn the alarm off. It was
Google,
telling me it was
shut
time
up.
to have a show. Crazy thing there. So, welcome to October. Holy cow, where did this year go?
I know. Pretty soon my kids are going to start, well, they already have, but yeah, asking what they want for Christmas. It's getting there already.
I'm filling out college applications for my youngest one because it's time to start getting those out and filling out financial aid paperwork and all the other fun stuff.
I've got plenty of years. Well, not plenty, but I've got, a few years yet before I have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So lucky me.
But in fact, the application is in up there right near you.
Western?
Over in Monmouth. Yep.
Nice.
Anyways, let's say hello to some folks in the chat there. Chris, the comic vet. How you doing, fam? Thanks for joining us here today. As always, our member of the Witness Location Program may be in New Mexico, maybe not. Las Crucius 1971. Chop and drop. We are doing great, you awesome person yourself.
Yes, sir.
And Digger Jim out there. Hope you got out there, digging long boxes and digging up the coins in the dirt there. The comic
Rings.
burrito joining the show. You take Batman for Christmas. Yeah, okay, there you go. Which Batman, though? That is the question. How about we just get a movie released on time for once? That'd be
nice, right?
Yeah, what an idea. Hey, so we're going to bring in our guest today. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about the Amazing Spider-Man, the end of the Nick Spencer run, maybe even celebrating it just a little. And our hopes, dreams, where we thought, where hope we're going with it. We have a special guest, a good buddy of mine, Mr. From the Instagram handle at Full Nerd, my buddy, Mr. Rob Van Brunt. Rob, how are you doing today?
I am great, guys. Thank you for having me.
And how's little Spidey there?
He is excellent. This is my childhood Mego Spidey that I have treasured my entire life. So.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, he is older than me and probably in better shape than I
am. So, Rob, do us a favor. Obviously, you're not. We have a lot of folks here that we interact with on a regular basis that are part of kind of a little small community that kind of interact with everybody, and you're a new face to them. You have the audacity to call yourself Full Nerd. Why not share with the folks? Give them some of your nerd credentials. Why are you here today on this panel?
Well, I love Spider-Man. I love comics just in general, but I've been reading Spider-Man since the mid-'70s. I am far older than I look. I worked in many comic stores, like I'm sure many people have, and I actually owned one for a little while in the early aughts. So I know a little something about comics.
Just a wee bit there, correct?
Just a wee bit, yeah.
And at work, when we were still in the office, you were borderline getting us shut down for having too many Funkos and figures on our desks all the time.
I had facilities come down and say I was creating a fire hazard and threaten to take them away. And I said, I will take a waiver. I will write it off and make sure you guys don't have responsibility, but I'm keeping my wall of pops. And if I die that way, I die that way.
I used to always love, they didn't work, have like, whenever we were having like high level guests come in, they'd come by his area days in advance and ask him to clean up some before.
That's dedication. Willing to sign a waiver?
Yeah, that is all true, and I never cleaned it up, and it actually became quite the conversation piece for a lot of like tourists and whatnot that would come into the office.
Yeah, and that's how it is. It's like I get surprised by some people when I sit there and say that this is the same location I will do my job from, and I do all my video meetings, as Rob knows. The comic wall is up on display, and I get asked that all the time. People go, well, is that professional stuff? Is it, you understand that like I was in a meeting with our CEO, our CFO, all the C staff, and the CFO is messaging me on the side, asking me questions about comics and grading and how can I help him to get his comics graded and tell me all the stuff that he's got. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'll talk to you later. I'm talking to the CEO. I'm listening to the CEO right now.
I didn't know he was that much into comics.
They thought that Rob Van Dam was. No, we do have though RVB with us, yes, as opposed to RVD.
I'm way more fun.
It is true. He is more fun. Anyways, so let's get on with the show kicking off. Anyways, oh hey, Mr. DJ Links, thank you for joining us. Welcome back. There, of course, the DJ Links, the ruler of the Link Squad. Chop and Drop was there. Yeah. Oh, Pocan Joe.
What's up, Pocan Joe?
Rob, you should check out, take note, and you check out Pocan stuff. The man does a thing called the Evil Lair. He just built a laser, a freaking laser, and builds all kinds of other. Built Thor's hammer. He does all these things, building all these freaking things in the Evil Lair. Amazing show.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I can't build anything other than Legos. But they're Marvel and DC Legos. So.
All right. So this pile of trash, other than the fact that it is the end of Nick Spencer's run, thank you. What do we have? What the last 74 issues?
Plus, because you had all those side tours too.
70 from issue 1 to this. I mean, Rob, as a guy who's read more Spider-Man than me by far.
Wow.
What's your initial feeling about the end of this era?
Thank God. I mean, it was perfectly competent in everything, but overall, it was just mostly a sigh of relief that it's all over. I mean, I don't know how deep you want to go into it now, but the whole run was not very satisfying. I like Nick Spencer. I love Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I thought it was one of the best books of that year, but this was not it.
No, I mean, I don't recall a run where we had maybe they sort of did it with the Batman run here with Bane and stuff, but it wasn't a full straight 75 issues to get to the freaking point. And then
yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, but that one was better written.
it wasn't nonstop. Yeah, there were other things going on. I mean, this was just like even.
This is like a 9-hour movie, is what you're saying?
It was a 3-year movie with so many extra little. So he would have like these little arcs in there, like a 6-part arc or 4-part arc, and then it would have like little. They had that hunted one where it was like 24 dot hunted and things like that. And so there's like an extra 10 or 12 issues that you can tack onto the run.
You could conceivably claim that the Amazing Mary Jane run is kind of is a tangential shoe-in as well too.
But the thing about that is that was fun. I don't know if you read that, Rob, but
Mary Jane, me.
Yeah, it was fun. This the main problem with this run, this Nick Spencer's run, is that it wasn't fun at all. It was he can do the funny, he can do some decent arcs and everything, but he just only time he ever really had any real good success was when Boomerang was there.
Yeah, I would equate it to I love a really good steak. And I just went to Fleming's and ordered a freaking $60 freaking ribeye or $100 ribeye steak. And I got nothing but freaking gristle.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is a long freaking chew to get an occasional scrap of meat.
There's the problem, or another problem, was that he took other people's arcs and tried to build on top of it. I don't know of anything that he did that was actually original to Spidey. Say what you want about Dan Slott, and I love Dan Slott, but I know a lot of people don't like his run. He added so much stuff. He kept adding and adding. He had Spider-Verse and Spider Island and all that stuff. Clone Conspiracy. I can't think of anything that Nick Spencer put on the table and for other people to work with and enjoy. The only thing he really did was at Kindred, and at the end of it just kind of wiped everything clean again.
Yeah, and so I mean, to kind of get into At this point on the show, I must advise you, listener, um, thank you for viewing with us up to this point. If you have not yet read this and do not wish to have any spoilers, there may be spoilers beyond this point. You have been
Sorry if I
warned.
spoiled anything.
No, you haven't. Saying Kindred, I don't think is spoiling. He shows up in issue 1 of a 74 arc. That doesn't spoil anything. But I may be about to. So, to some degree. So, to find out, first of all, that there's 2 flippin' Kindreds
Yeah.
is kind of like a what at the end here. And then, oh, wait, our reveal to you of who Kindred was back in the issues 20 something, that's not really who it was. It's really these other people. And we're just going to undo all the worst stories that Spider-Man has ever had and chalk it up to more Mephisto's garbage.
Yeah, which is super played out in my opinion. And I mean, I'm happy to write those stories off. I mean, are we talking about this specifically, or are we just kind of being vague about that?
No, let's go, man. Let's just dig it.
So
Fill me in.
We find out that Kindred were the at the time the illegitimate children of Norman Osborn and Gwen Stacy.
Right. So for those of you who are playing at home, the board game at home, but might have stepped to the bathroom while we were playing, well, the dice were rolling, way back when it was revealed in Spider lore, very controversial storyline. It was revealed that Norman Osborn, the father, right, the first Green Goblin, had a sexual affair with Gwen Stacy as a teenager, and she had become
a college student.
College. She
Don't
could have still been a
crazy.
teenager. She could have been a teenager. My son is a sophomore in college, and he's 19.
18. Yeah, absolutely. You're 100%.
So anyways, she was young and in college, and he had an encounter that left her pregnant and had twins.
But not in 9 months. It was all within a shortened period of time because they were super goblin babies.
Right. So yeah, that was out there for a long time. Well, we undo all this, and it turns out that no, the twins aren't really twins; they're clones, esque, and they've been actually living and dying repeatedly thanks to their speed up metabolism and death and all this other crap. And Mephisto keeps making them. He's controlling them, and they keep coming to life and dying and coming to life and dying, and he's torturing them and freaking making their lives hell and putting them all through this. And because
reason,
I'm not even sure why. Yeah, at the end of the day, I couldn't understand why Mephisto was doing it. I understood why Norman thought, or Harry thought he might have originally that they were created by Harry to get back at his dad, because it turns out the really reason that the Green Goblin ever became the Green Goblin and had all these craziness was because he made a deal with Mephisto to get power, and he sold his son Harry's soul to Mephisto.
Right, but it
Father
was
of the
revealed.
Year.
Yeah, it was revealed at the very end that that it wasn't really Peter Parker that Mephisto's gunning for and torturing him with all these years. It was the possibility of Spider-Girl or his daughter, May or Annie, or whichever one you want to pick.
Which was teased way back when they originally undid the marriage. Really, there was this piece with May Parker.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're going for May, since Annie was a more newer thing, but which is fine. You know, it's all. Apparently, Spencer didn't even get to finish what he wanted to do, but can't imagine how any of this would have been improved.
It did feel like after 74 issues that it was rushed a bit at the end.
Yeah, well,
only because you were at a glacial pace, and then all of a sudden global warming.
Yeah, I mean, he took a book like Spider-Man, which you can have darkness in it and everything, and some of those best issues, with Craven's Last Hunt or something along those lines, are great. They're classics, but Spidey should be at Down Deep have some fun to it.
He should be able to do whatever a spider can, right?
Exactly. He should be able to swing and make jokes. And Slott got that which you build them up and then you take them down, and then you build them up higher, and then you take them down some more, and so on and so forth. And so that's what you actually saw that escalation during the 200 issues of Slott's run. But in this, it was basically just crap on Spidey all the time, and nothing ever really came of it. He
just
got
make him
beat up a
feel
lot.
worse and worse and worse, and he barely cracking any jokes, or just it's like, oh, how much can he take? It's like
Suicidal Peter Parker.
we're just gonna
They
pile
did get a
on
suicidal
him.
Peter Parker.
Yeah, you just pile on him until he can't take anymore. So I mean, yeah, it did some weird twists and turns to the Spider lore. Not that, I mean, look, it's a comic book.
DJ.
Any comic book lore so where do we go from here, right? So now we have we have Zeb Wells and Kelly Thompson taking over
Saladin
writing duties.
Ahmed.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Where do you go from here? I mean, we know right now the immediate from what we have, again, spoilers. We know that Ben Reilly, another freaking clone, is back in the mix, because Spider-Man should just be called freaking the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars. Just mix them, bring them together.
But yeah, it's really Spider-Man: The Clone Wars. Why not?
Yet another clone saga, because they just finished that up with Miles too.
When they're going to go to Camino, we'll find out. But so we know that Ben Reilly's coming back. We know that he's working for some. If you read the free comic book day and the back of here, then you know that he's working for this mysterious the Beyond Corporation, and nothing ever great has ever come from shadowy corporate entities that come to people and say, "Hey, I'd like to make a deal with you. We'd like for you to be our shiny new Maserati or whatever out in front." And I don't know why people fall for that. Has it ever worked in comics?
I mean, they tried to do it during the Spencer run when he had that weird blue and white suit, where he was sponsored and he had like the photo goggles and everything, and
right.
But with the Beyond stuff, I think it's loosely called Spider-Man Beyond or something like that.
Yeah, well, because it's the Beyond Corporation.
Yeah, I like all the writers on it. I mean, I think I've enjoyed things from them, and I think they're gonna at least put out some decent stories that'll be readable and fun. I don't know what the long-term plan is, because you've got a Spider-Man movie coming out. You've got does Spidey have an anniversary? Spidey has an anniversary next year. He turns 50.
Wow.
Wait, 60. Turns 60 next year. So they're going to do at least something big for Peter Parker. They can't kill him off, obviously, because it's comics. But they'll string us along. Peter will be gone for a while. We'll get teased with something either with him getting married to MJ or something like that. But
yeah, so we know from, if we look at the the next couple releases, the descriptions are coming up, right? We know that in 77 there's a target on his back, and he's being hunted out, whatever, and at some point something's going to happen.
Yeah,
it has repercussions, right? And the tease has been that Peter goes into a coma.
Yeah, I mean, that's been obvious from a couple of covers, but they also had that one cover where Peter was actually like scrambling around on the outside of the hospital, which means I don't think he's going to be too badly hurt. I mean, you obviously can't take Peter Parker out of the mix for too long, especially
we can't take comic book covers at face value.
Also true. I mean, it could all be a dream. It could all be just fancy Art Adams covers, which I do enjoy.
But what's interesting is as we go into 78 and 79, and you read the descriptions in previews and whatnot, there's zero mention of Peter in them, only mentions of Ben.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll keep Peter in the background for at least a while till they get this launched. And then what they'll probably do, like what Marvel likes to do, is create another IP, and then they'll spin them off like he was in Scarlet Spider, and then you'll have 2 different Spideys again, or 3 different Spideys with Miles, or 4 different Spideys with Ghost Spider and Ad
A
Infinitum.
Ghost Spider doesn't have a book right now. That got
Shit,
that
no.
got ca- that got
They
ca-
canceled the COVID.
it
Right?
got canceled. Yeah, after COVID, they brought it back just to do the 2 more issues, just as they were bringing Gwenom, and they haven't done anything since then. I know. I'm despondent over it. I like Ghost Spider.
I know. I have a pop signed by Shauna McGuire.
Nice.
I hope I said her name right.
I have a book right here.
Nice.
But anyways, the so my thought, if I want to be the pessimist in the room, because Marvel likes to bring Peter up and then beat him back down again.
That sounded horrible.
Yeah, I know. Well, at least I didn't say they were going to beat him off. So here's my
He's got a girlfriend.
Right, my girlfriend now, right? His wife that they took away from him. My guess, I'd like to, or what I would hope, I expect to see, and I, based off just my own gut instinct, I'd like to think that some of these images and the stuff with the Mary Jane with him and the way the relationship has been coming back together, that perhaps they're going to actually allow them to start to continue to be more and more integrated as a couple, but that this big thing that's going to happen and that's going to put him out is either it's going to take him where he can't be this and he goes and he's in a coma for an extended period of time, or he decides to give up. Hey, Ben's back. I'm going to give this up because I'm going to go spend time with Mary Jane. One of these two things.
I don't.
More like,
I mean,
for a while.
Yeah, I don't.
But 25 issues will be 900, and then I would not be surprised if we don't see Peter Parker in any significant role until issue 900.
Oh, I totally believe that. I'm giving it even earlier than that, to be honest. They'll start threading him in a lot sooner than that, and then by 900 they'll have a big thing. Oh, Peter Parker's back, But I don't want to see him quit anymore because that's been played out so many times.
That's exactly why Marvel would do it, because they don't because they don't always know what to do other than to recycle the same thing, like bring clones out for Miles, because no Spider-Man has ever had clones before.
Well, that actually, I actually liked that arc. It was short, it was sweet, and it was fun. Again, Spidey's supposed to be fun, even when it's Miles. It's supposed to be fun. I don't want to, be depressed when I'm reading Spider-Man, and that's what happened when I was, reading, the Nick Spencer run. I was like, this is so dark, and he gets his butt kicked the entire time. Just bums me out.
Oh, I mean, that's my fear, is that we're not going to see him. I mean, of course, there's two, right? Is it going to be at 900 or is it going to be at 100, right? Since they, that's like the perfect time for them to do something mega like that, because they have the back-to-back issues of centennial big round numbers where, one of them you bring Peter back and the next one then Ben goes off and spins his own. I would be surprised to see Ben Reilly spin off into his own much before that, just for, although it might have been planned, there is an issue that's going on right now in real life with supply chain issues as they have now transitioned to Penguin. But there's a comic book paper shortage, and there's a lot of concern as you have diversified the production of these books to these different distributors, and they're all trying to order paper instead of one place that was doing it all, along with the long cargo lead times and everything else. I would be surprised if some of the plans to potentially launch other books, which would normally be there, aren't curtailed in order to conserve supplies.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of did the same thing for COVID, where some books just disappeared.
Stop,
right?
Yeah.
Or they could try to play games with the digital first, or whatever else they normally do, or maybe they move somebody all to TPs.
They had a few books that were only digital there for a while.
Yeah, and Marvel is hitting their Marvel Unlimited thing really hard. And some of the books that they have on there are really good. The X-Men book I've read the first few, and they were like really solid, not necessarily important, but they're really, done by big names and everything. And there's a bunch that are done by, new people and everything. But you could very easily spin someone off into one of those unlimited books and get plenty of exposure.
Jason,
Rob,
what do you want to see out of Spider-Man?
Honestly, I forgot what the name of the title was, but the last Spider-Man book I read was the book where it was basically what if he kept the Venom symbiote.
The Shadow.
That was amazing. So I'd like to see more of that.
So more one of the one-off stories, or just more you want to see?
Those are fun. I like those. I mean,
it doesn't need to be Batman level, but
no, I mean, no one really is on Batman level. So I mean,
I meant the number of books and short stories that are going on right now.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, DC is really cashing in on their Batman franchise right now, because that's really, not to crap all over DC, but it's only Batman.
When they mix Batman with Fortnite, it was going way too far. I mean, come on.
He wants Batman in a Spider-Man book. Yeah, well, we'd love to see that crossover.
We had that, though. We had that in the 90s, twice.
Yeah.
No.
And they were not that good.
That's generally because when you get those things, it's like, why are you guys really going at it? And no, we kind of seen it. We've kind of, we can't let anybody win. We can't really,
That's the whole thing with those kind of books, and even show like Batman versus Superman, right? I mean, you can't really have a winner.
Yeah, and I think really you kind of almost have Spider-Man fighting Batman all the time whenever he fights Kraven.
Yeah. Pretty close.
Speaking of which, Kraven will be making featured as Kraven. We know it's really the last son of Kraven who's now taken on the Kraven mantle, because he killed his own dad, or killed the original Kraven and took on.
Stupid storyline.
I liked the stuff with Kurt Connor in there.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a 10-part arc of the whole thing. That was like,
right.
It was only a handful.
It was one little piece that moved a little piece of the needle. I liked that part, but yeah, for the most part, yeah. Anyway, so Kraven the Hunter making a comeback in '79 to play games with Ben Reilly's Spider-Man as he's recovering.
I don't understand how Kraven is a viable threat these days. I mean, I get it, 60 years ago, but he's not that big of a deal these days. He's a guy with maybe some, he
doesn't even. He's not even rich, is he? Is he rich? And he's not.
Yeah, he's got some money. At least every time that they show him, he's like always in like some big mansion and got all sorts.
He's got his own little island, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so
his own little island of Dr. Monroe. All right. So, anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap. So, Nick Spencer, I think we agree as far as this run goes.
It's a whole lot of nothing.
Nick Spencer. Yeah, it didn't.
Go ahead.
No. So go ahead. So let's say thumbs up or thumbs down on the last 74 issues.
For me, it's like right in the middle. It was competently done. I like some of the artists. It really didn't change anything for me. It added nothing to the mythos. I mean, it wasn't like his complete, crap show for Captain America, where Captain America's a Nazi, but it wasn't as good as some of his other stuff, like Superior Foes of Spidey or Ant-Man, and even Morning Glories and things like that. He's had a lot of better luck than just on other books, and I could tell he wanted to do Spidey, and I was like excited when he got announced, but I just don't think he was ready for it.
For me, after assuming I spot no other covers and every book was only $4.99, after spending $369 on that steak, I expected a little something more than just grizzle. So for me,
name one new thing that besides Kindred that Nick Spencer created for that.
A bad taste in your mouth?
No, not well, naturally, but what new thing did he create that that he remembered for? What new character? What new exactly? There's nothing there.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. I paid $400 essentially for nothing.
He
For
could have learned
filler.
from Tinian on how to create new characters. Tinian fucking spits them out left and right in Batman.
Yeah, well, you know why he did that? He created all those characters because he wasn't allowed to do the things he wanted to with the established characters, so he had to go make his own, and then he could do whatever the heck he wanted with them.
Yep.
And then if they use him down the road, he gets paid.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Smart man.
But so anyways, yeah, there's not much that comes out of it. I mean, it was I said it many times along with my buddy who's chiming here, Chris the comic vet. You know, this is a book that I have picked up simply because, as Chris refers to it, it's the franchise, right? I picked it up every single week because it was the Amazing Spider-Man, not because I wanted to read it, but because I needed to collect it. Now that it is done, I mean, I even took a break. Actually, there was a period of time where I was simply just kind of flipping through, looking at pages, and like a 3-year-old, and closing the book and moving on. And now, you know, I had to force myself to sit down and read these last 5 books solid to make sure that I could talk intelligently, that he didn't all of a sudden pull a magic rabbit out of his hat and say, surprise, this was actually great.
Great ending.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's done, right? I'm ready to move on. As somebody who has established many times a disdain for the Clone Saga, and still can't get the taste of maximum clonage out of the back of my throat, to see that, to have been so happy to hear that Nick Spencer was going, only to hear that Ben Reilly was coming back, was like what Marvel. It was like I was Spider-Man. Hey, here's some good news. Fuck you. You get nothing, sir, but a kick in the nuts. And that's how I feel a little bit on there. But I pray, like I said, that with 200, only 25 issues away, that we're going to build to something and we'll get Peter back.
I think you're right. I think I think it's going to be a nice little break of, you know, get some of the bad taste out of our mouths, like Jason said. And once Ben Reilly's doing his things, we'll get back to some real Spidey stuff. Doomsday
Clock and the MCU ruining comics and superheroes.
Well,
either that or
right.
It could be true. It also could be true that nerds at home with too much time on their hands and a sense of we know better than you, but we can't tell a story ourselves, are ruining it too. But you know, let's just blame the flippers.
Right? Darn flippers.
Yeah.
What's up, Louie?
That's right.
That whole statement was an argument for another time.
Exactly.
I'll do that one.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Awesome sauce, guys. Thank you very much, Rob, for coming on. You got anything coming up to tell the community?
I do have my own podcast, of which we have been very delinquent of late, called Comic Book Heroes, where we talk about comic book movies. We've done.
There might be a few coming back out now.
Yeah, we're looking to do the Suicide Squad next, and then Ang Lee's Hulk coming up soon, and then we've already done like Iron Man and Road Edition and a few others.
I should say that their podcast, I did listen to a couple episodes back early on when I could get it. I can't remember how I could get it originally before that.
It's everywhere now. Before we only had it on like Anchor or something.
Yeah, well, I don't remember how I ended up listening to it because I don't know podcasts. I'm freaking 800 years old. But I think at one point they were available initially on the Facebook page or something. But these guys go in depth into these movies. It's not the surface gloss over stuff that, like, you know, me and Jason did with
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad and stuff. Yeah, so we're just sidekicks. Those dudes,
you guys are
like,
the superheroes.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely advise checking out. The name of the podcast again is
Comic Book Heroes.
Comic Book Heroes everywhere where you can get podcasts, supposedly.
iTunes, Spotify, all those places.
Phenomenal. And you can
Not a-
follow Rob on Instagram at Full Nerd. It's an underscore between full
Underscore,
and nerd.
yep.
Or
It's
you can look at my
information.
name and I'll be
Actually,
there.
it's also right down below. You can
Oh.
just look at the comment and you can click on it
Click it.
and go ahead and subscribe him up. You can see
Yeah.
his many, many toys, action figures, and what's really cool is when he starts doing some of his small photographs in action out in the wild type stuff. That's pretty cool stuff.
I haven't done that in a while, but yeah, I need to get back to
No,
that.
but I enjoy the hell out of them when you do. Jason.
I've got some comic book content coming the 24th. I've got some CGC unboxings. Got a guest
Ooh.
coming onto the channel to unbox them.
They shake someone shook the tree and a few fell out, huh?
Maybe. And then I've got, well, I don't know what I've got. I was talking to Gary and Jimmy about possibly doing a Usual Suspects hangout because everybody does these live hangouts now, and yeah, so why not, right?
Yeah. Taylor said something about that to me because I think last week I was on like way too many of them. All right, guys, and then I have let's see what today is Tuesday, so Thursday, my CGC unboxing dropping, a Yo Joe unboxing for Thursday CGC, everything GI Joe on that, and then Saturday Slab Hub will be on at our usual time, 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Our guest this week on Slab Hub is
Mark?
Nick
Oh,
from Nick
no.
Kicks and Comics.
As long as it's not Nick Spencer, I think you're okay.
Yeah, no, Nick from Nick Kicks and Comics will be sitting down with us to share some of his slabs that he's got and trying to get up there at the same level as some of our past guests who have been showing off some serious heat as of late. All right, guys. That's all I think about all that I got. Anything else from any of you guys?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. It's fun.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I want to see more of his toys now. Darn it. I wish it, yeah.
Oh, I have like 50 right here next to me, just right off screen. New Eternal figures came today.
Nice.
Ooh. I'd like to thank all of you guys in the chat for coming out and watching and supporting us. The next show in 2 weeks, as we do Sidekicks on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. Next week, our next show, Jason, you want to go ahead and let that one out of the bag?
The horror comic special for Halloween.
Ooh, spooky. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, collect what you want. Don't listen to me, though. I'm just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching.